Hey, I am the wind beneath your wings, and just like many of you last week, I spent the majority of my week in Koresh, the new zone that came out in patch 11.2. I started off by getting the Dark Moon Fair buff because that kind of worked out perfectly, where we had 10% extra rep, so I got up to, I think, like Renown 7 or close to 8. Like I said last week, this zone looks incredible. I spent a few hours questing and finishing up everything that I could. I just need to do the last couple campaign quests when they unlock. I flew around doing world quests afterwards and picking up some treasures and killing some rares, doing some of the miscellaneous achievements along the way. Still a lot to do there, so that'll keep me busy for the next few weeks at least, because there are some achievements that are going to take a little bit of time. Like specifically one is to collect a certain amount of orbs, and I think someone was saying they spent like 6 hours specifically farming that, so a lot to do. But one thing I need to rant about again here is the fact that there is no flying in untethered space. Nothing drives me more crazy in this game than Blizzard's obsession with giving us a mount, taking it away, giving us the ability to fly, taking it away, giving it, taking it away. If there is a story reason for it, why are they focused so hard on this little minute detail? If there is no story reason, what's the arbitrary reason that they're taking it away? I've seen a lot of people say that with the teleportation system in untethered space, that it is actually quite faster than flying. And yes, you can get from point to point quicker. But if I want to go do a world quest after I get somewhere, I have to run there. What exactly is the point of me unlocking the ability to ground mount when my cloak is at rank whatever? What does my cloak have to do with my ability to mount? In the past, what does Pathfinder, doing a bunch of unrelated achievements to flying, have to do with unlocking flying? In Siren Isle, it made no sense because 6 weeks after it came out, suddenly I can fly. On Monday, I can't fly. On Tuesday, I can. What happened? Nothing. Like, did something change in the story? Did I unlock something? Did I do something to earn the ability to fly? No, it was just, like the servers restarted, so, grats. What is so OP or so just not great about the ability to fly that Blizzard demands that we constantly use ground mounts for a specific amount of time or forever? Like, in Siren Isle, you still can't mount, at least not in the lightning zone, which makes no sense because there's NPCs that can fly. I think I heard someone say that the lightning strikes that come from the sky are the reason you can't fly, which, again, makes no sense because of those NPCs. But also, lightning is indiscriminate. It's going to hit anyone. These NPCs that have about 13.7 million less health than I do, who have not killed Illidan twice, who have not killed Kil'jaeden twice, who have not killed Ragnaros twice, who have not killed multiple old gods, who have not saved the planet over and over and over again, who have not earned the ability to fly over and over and over again, they can fly no problem. But I can't. It makes no sense, it's absolutely stupid, and Blizzard constantly reiterates the fact that they regret ever introducing flying into the game. Now in untethered space, why can I 1, not fly, but 2, have to wait for my cloak, of all things, to become a certain rank for me to be able to ground mount? There is no other mechanic in the game, as far as I know, that you constantly have to relearn how to do. With every patch, not just every expansion, every patch. What is the gameplay reason? What exactly is so OP about flying that we can't use it? Stop taking away flying, or remove it from the game entirely. But moving on from that to something that is a little bit less frustrating, I spent some time in Mythic Dungeons where I did 4 of them. I didn't know that Tazafesh wasn't available this week for, I don't know why. So we're not going to be able to get the last dungeon spot in the vault, so just 4 was enough. So I jumped on my warrior and did 4 of those, including the new one, which I actually kind of like. It's kind of reminds me of Everbloom from Warlords of Draenor. I like what I see. The bosses seem kind of fun, but that's when they're easy. So we'll see how they play out when mechanics matter more. The first boss is pretty easy. The second boss is decent, but I'm not entirely sure I understand how the warp intermission works because the group I was in seemed to be trying to stack as if it reduced damage, but I don't think that's how it works. So I need to double check that. And Soulscribe is pretty simple, but I feel like it could be sneakily very challenging once you're doing it for minutes at a time in Mythic Plus. With gear on my warrior, I was able to get 5 more item levels, so he got his Reshi Wraps to rank 3. I got a champ weapon that I upgraded 10 item levels to be 691, which replaced my heroic 681. I had a veteran ring that I fully upgraded to 691 that replaced my 658 Cersei's circlet, finally. And then lastly, I had some champ boots that I didn't have enough crust to upgrade, so they stayed at 681 and just replaced my heroic 671 boots. This week I did some delves. I did the new archival assault one, which is a little bit confusing to get around, at least the story that I did. I spent maybe a couple hours total unlocking all the way up to tier 11 in delves. This is the first time this expansion where I've done that in the first week. Usually getting up to tier 11 would take a few weeks just while I got more gear. I did start to notice things getting a little bit dicey around tier 9. I had to pull smaller and focus more on cooldowns, but overall, it was still not that bad. I'll wait to give Kaiveza a shot until I get some more gear. I'd like to maybe go through a couple of weeks of raid before I jump in there. I've seen glimpses of it on people's streams and it seems fun. we'll see how that looks whenever I get to it. Moving on to achievements this week, I got 125 more points, so I'm ending the week at 47,150. I got Legendary Pet Battler, which is to complete 5,000 pet battles. And then the rest of the stuff is 11.2 related, so I got the achievements to explore Koresh, to get all the glyphs, to pet a few cats. I got Secrets of the Koreshi, which is to get all the lore options, which if you haven't done this yet, I recommend waiting maybe until the next Dark Moon Fair comes around, because each lore object gives 250 rep. I got Sojourner, which is to do all the side quests. And then I got the achievement to find all the treasures in the new delve. Like I said, there's still plenty more to do, a lot of time-consuming ones in Koresh, so I will be spending a lot of time there over the next little bit. Moving into mounts this week, I got the Blackwater Bone Crusher, which is the Blackwater Reputation Paragon mount. I got this after 2 boxes, and it is the last Undermined Paragon mount that I need. And then for the monthly Traveler's Log, I got the Grandmaster's Prophetic Board, as well as the Grandmaster's Royal Board for 750 tendies, which I like this one more. I'm not the biggest fan of the model, but I do like that we've never seen a board like this before. But that is it for me. That is all the stuff that I did last week and everything that I wanted to talk about. Let me know what's going on in your week. How are you liking the new patch? What do you think of not being able to mount or fly in Untethered Space? What do you think of the new dungeon and the new delve? What do you think of week 1 as a whole, and what are you excited for this new season? Anything and everything, I would love to read about it in the comments down below. If you like these videos and it feels like we're just two buddies talking about WoW, give this video a thumbs up because it does help me out. If you're not already subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you would consider it, because there are a lot more videos to come and this really helps me out. If you're already subscribed, I love you lots. Thank you so much. If you're looking for something else to watch, you can check out the video that I made where I spent 1 month playing without any add-ons. If that sounds interesting, click the video that's on screen now. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a fantastic week. I'll talk at you next week. I love you lots.